Okay, so Alberta has rolled out this new thing, the Expression of Interest (EOI) system for their Alberta Advantage Immigration Program (AIP) worker streams. Yeah, I know. It sounds pretty technical at first, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down so you can really get what this means, especially if you're looking to move to Alberta for work, right? I see a lot of people have questions about it, so let's dive in and take a good look at how this whole thing works and why it matters. Alright, so first of all, what exactly is this expression of interest system? Okay, think of it like this. Before, people who wanted to immigrate to Alberta through certain streams of the AIP would have to apply directly, and it wasn't always clear who would get selected. Yeah, there was kind of a lack of transparency, and not everyone knew if they were even eligible before putting in all that effort, you know what I mean? So now Alberta has set up this EOI system, and it changes the way people get selected for immigration to the province. The idea here is to make things a bit more efficient and targeted, focusing on the needs of Alberta's job market. Here's how it works. If you're a skilled worker wanting to immigrate to Alberta under one of these AIP worker streams, you start by submitting an expression of interest, okay? Yeah, it's not a full application right away. Think of it more like raising your hand and saying, "Hey, Alberta, I'm interested in moving there for work." Right? You're not just diving in head first. You're showing interest and letting the province know you're on the radar. So what happens after you submit that EOI? I see this is where things get interesting. Alberta doesn't just pick people randomly. Instead, they use a points-based system to assess your profile. Yeah, kind of like a scoreboard. The points are based on things like your work experience, education, skills, and how well your profile matches what Alberta needs in terms of workers. They're looking for people who can really contribute to the economy and fill gaps in the labor market. So, if you're in a field where Alberta is facing shortages like, let's say, construction, healthcare, or tech, okay, you might have a higher chance of being selected. Alright, so now that you've submitted your EOI and you've got a score, what next? The highest scoring candidates are then invited to apply for permanent residency through the AIP. Yeah, this is important to understand. Just submitting an EOI doesn't guarantee you'll get an invitation to apply. It's more like entering a pool of candidates, and the ones with the highest points get picked. It's a bit competitive, but it also means that Alberta is focusing on the people they need the most at any given time. I think that makes sense, right? It's like Alberta's trying to match the right people with the right jobs, and this EOI system helps them do that more efficiently. Okay, now let's talk about who's eligible for this system. Yeah, this is where people start wondering, am I even qualified to submit an EOI? So to be eligible, you need to meet the specific criteria for the worker streams under AIP. Right? These are pathways designed for people who have skills and experience in occupations that are in demand in Alberta. I see there are a few different streams under AAIP, like the Alberta Opportunity Stream, which is for workers who are already in Alberta and have a valid work permit, and the Alberta Express Entry Stream, which is linked to the Federal Express Entry System. So, if you've got experience in an occupation that's in demand and you meet the other criteria, okay, you might be a good fit. Now, once you submit your EOI, you might be wondering, how long do I have to wait? Yeah, the waiting game can be tough, but Alberta typically selects candidates on a regular basis from the EOI pool. It's not instant, okay, but it's a process that's happening continuously. And you can improve your chances by making sure your profile is as strong as possible. Right, like if you've got work experience in a high-demand field, or if your English or French language skills are solid, that's going to help boost your score. Okay, one more thing to keep in mind, submitting an EOI doesn't cut workers who can contribute to the economy and fill jobs that are in demand, okay? And this system gives them a more organized and transparent way to do that. So, what's the benefit for you as a potential immigrant? I think there are a couple of big pluses here. Yeah, one is that the system is more transparent than some older methods. You know your profile is being evaluated based on clear criteria, okay, and you can see how you stack up against other candidates. Right? You're not just throwing an application into the void and hoping for the best. You've got a real sense of where you stand, and you can even take steps to improve your score if you need to. Another benefit, is that this system really focuses on in-demand occupations. So, if you're in a field that Alberta needs, your chances of getting selected could be pretty good. Yeah, it's not a guarantee, but it's definitely a targeted approach. Right? Alberta is looking for specific skills, and if you have them, you're already in a better position than you might be in a more general immigration system. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Express Entry connection. Right? Some of you might already be familiar with Canada's Federal Express Entry system. Yeah? Well, the Alberta Express Entry stream works within that framework. So, if you're already in the Express Entry pool at the federal level and you've indicated an interest in moving to Alberta, okay, the province can select you directly through this stream if your profile fits their needs. I think this is a nice option because it means you're being considered on both the federal and provincial levels, giving you more opportunities to be invited for permanent residency. Now, if you're thinking, how do I improve my chances? Okay, I've got a few tips for you. First, make sure your language skills are solid, especially if you're applying through the Express Entry stream. Yeah, improving your English or French can really boost your score, and it's something you have control over. Also, take a close look at the occupations in demand in Alberta. Right, if you're in a field that's on their list, you're already off to a good start. But if you're considering a career change or additional training, okay, you might want to focus on areas where there's a need. Another thing, is to make sure your work experience is well documented. Alberta is looking for people with the right skills, and having a clear, strong work history that aligns with their needs is going to help you stand out. Okay, so be thorough with your resume and your application. You want to show that you've got exactly what Alberta is looking for. So, that's the big picture on Alberta's new expression of interest system for the AAIP worker streams. I think it's a great step toward making immigration more efficient and targeted, both for the province and for skilled workers looking to build a life in Alberta. Okay, if you're thinking about making a move, now's the time to check out the system and see where you fit in. Right, it's a competitive process, but it's also an opportunity for the right candidates to make their mark. I see this system becoming a key part of Alberta's immigration strategy, and if you're serious about moving there, it's definitely worth exploring. Thanks for watching our video. Please hit the button and subscribe the channel.